So today I'm going to talk about how bad a master I am of my own learning process, because I teach in Japan and I teach in China and Thailand and all the places that people don't really want to go, where it's all hot and full of insects, and you make personal relationships with all different forms of toilets. So if you're a living action researcher, it's a very good case study. How do I improve my practice? Well, the practice is actually finding a toilet you can use. Right, so I'm going to speak to you for a few moments now, only about 4 slides. Now, I know you're doctoral candidates, and congratulations, and you're probably really stressed, so I'm going to not talk about anything about that at all. What I'm going to do is try and show some of my work by producing some imagery in the background while talking to you. Now, some of you have come from the previous presentation I've just done, so I'm sorry if it's slightly different, I hope. So, here we go. Okay, your different aspects, there's all different aspects of who you are and what you are and where you come from. Each one of you in this room has a different story. Now, my story is I came born in the United Kingdom. I was a soldier and a paramedic and a nurse. I got better after being blown up, you know, one of Maggie Thatcher's little exercises. And then I became a monk because I'd seen too much suffering, too much killing, and I really wanted to do something different. So my doctorate was at Bath University, where I explored knowledge. And it was really hard for me to get into university because I came from an orphanage. I didn't have a first degree. I didn't have ologies and allergies and all the stuff that all the privileged people have. I did my 3 jobs at night school and got my degrees that way. And then I got accepted into Bath University in action research. Now, action research is very dangerous for your academic career, because action research is not seen as a research paradigm by a lot of people still. They say it's fluffy and it's woolly and it has no evidence of practice, but this is evidence. This is showing you elements by using pictures and narrative to show parts and aspects of me which increase my trustability, my transparency, by hopefully forming a relationship with you in the text and context of now. Okay? So I've got 15 minutes, so I have to speed up. I went to Japan in 2000 to postdoctoral research to design a new curriculum for nursing to include touch, because all the nursing curriculums that I could see did everything else but teach nurses how to touch people. How to touch people with their intention, how to touch people with their eyes, how to touch people with their voice, how to touch people with their body language. Now, how do you put that into research? How do you write a research program that will allow you to get that through a university? It's a great deal of difficulty because of the concepts of what knowledge is. Who decides what is knowledge? Now, you're probably not going to like what I say now, but I make no apologies. When I got to Japan, I found my Japanese faculty more European than me. The colonization of education in Asia is white. The paradigms are white. The knowledge factor is white. What is supposed to be correct in terms of knowledge, Bernstein's, you know, the unthinkable and the thinkable, the talkable and the untalkable, is white. So, in the Japanese faculty of nursing, we had everybody learning all these things. And Japan, last year, 35,000 men killed themselves. Suicide. It's been the same for 5 years in Japan. So, in the last 5 years, Japan has lost more people from suicide than the Americans lost in the Vietnam War, in a full-blown war. Why? Because Japan is still suffering from post-colonialization of losing the war. Japan is still in the victim stage. Now, if you trace colonialism around Asia, and some people don't want to do this and don't like to do it, okay, you'll see that wherever the British colonists or the American colonists or colonization per se have been, they've left the values of their education. But what happened to indigenous knowledge? What happened to the knowledge that these people had for centuries before other people came along and said, that's not right? Now, I have the power to police what's not right. What happened to it in terms of good knowledge or bad knowledge? Who says good? Who says bad? And for my sins, I was selected to represent Japan, can you believe, to go to China in an exchange. Probably because nobody from Japan wanted to go to China. So I teach in Beijing University. And when I got into Beijing University, I found the same thing. China has its concept of being able to get in and look at and take apart and put back together again. So here I was, faced with a classroom of Chinese students who had a very, very different attitude to knowledge than they had in Japan. The Japanese students, as I heard in a previous lecture, they don't want to be there. They don't want to be in the classroom. 50% or more of our class don't want to be nurses. I thought, well, the Chinese obviously want to be nurses. And I went into the class and I said, who wants to be a nurse in here? Not one hand went up. Because Chinese nurses wanted to be doctors first, didn't get the grades, and were allocated to nursing. However, the Chinese nurses are hungry for knowledge. They want to find out how they can do things. Now, there's a wonderful system in China. Well, it's confusing. They have traditional Chinese medicine, which is very, very strong. Then they have traditional plus Western paradigms of nursing, okay? And then they have the Western nurse in culture. Now, where did the Western nursing culture come from? You'd say the West, wouldn't you? No, it didn't. Not in China. It's come from books. It's come from books written in America, Australia, Britain, Canada. It's imported knowledge. And this imported knowledge has been given such power by the World Bank that the imported knowledge is becoming stronger than the thousands of years of traditional knowledge that's existed. Now, this is a major problem. And I've only got 5 minutes to say how to change the world. So, it's a major problem because there's a tension in China now. Because of the economy, it's all blown up. It's all becoming faster, faster, heating up. And they're so keen to learn and so keen to move forward in terms of knowledge generation. However, if they don't, and I'm saying this publicly, they're making a mistake. If they don't protect the knowledge of the past in the present, it has no future. So China's in danger of losing the very thing that can help you and us in the West, because China's got forms of medicine and different paradigms that we've not even investigated in terms of energy, dynamics, flows, space creation, disease as an energetic process rather than a biological process. These are difficult times. We have to acknowledge as international educators that all knowledge has value. There is no hierarchical system in knowledge. There shouldn't be, and it should be actively fought. if we keep quiet about colonization, which is going on now, whether it's through industry, whether it's through politics, whether it's through policies, whether it's through bad practice of education, then we're all part of the problem. And I believe we're all part of the answer, and hence coming here to speak to you today for 15 minutes. Now, if you're a researcher, a PhD researcher, you think, well, what's that got to do with research? I would gently challenge you and say, it's fundamental to research that we must always question our knowledge base, where it comes from, what we do with it, and how we disseminate that knowledge base. Anybody want to shoot me now? Thank you very much.